Today, we've got a truly incredible story of digital activism. It's about how a community came together to build one of the largest open-source language datasets completely from scratch, finally giving their language a voice in the world of AI. Let's get into how they pulled it off. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why your phone's voice assistant understands English, or maybe Spanish, almost perfectly, but completely fails with other languages? It all comes down to one thing: data. And for so many of the world's languages, that data just doesn't exist. Take a language like Pashto, for example. We're talking about a major language, spoken by more than 50 million people, primarily in Afghanistan and Pakistan. And yet for years in the digital world, it was practically silent. This huge community was basically invisible to the tech we all use every single day. So, here's how we're going to walk through this amazing story. We'll start with the problem, what I'm calling the sound of silence. Then, we'll see how a community stepped up to answer the call. We'll look at the absolute explosion of data they created, peek inside that data, analyze its unbalanced voice, and finally, ask the big question: what comes next? Okay, so first up, the core of the problem. You've got this language with millions and millions of speakers, but for the longest time, Pashto has been what's known as a digitally underserved language. It was missing the massive amounts of voice data that you absolutely need to power modern AI. And, a digitally underserved language isn't just one that's not on the internet. It's much deeper than that. It means a language is missing the specific kinds of data. We're talking thousands upon thousands of hours of transcribed speech that are the fundamental building blocks for all these AI tools we take for granted. Without that data, you just can't build a voice assistant, a good dictation app, or a real-time translator, period. But this is where the story gets really good. See, instead of just waiting around for some big tech company to maybe someday solve the problem for them, the Pashto-speaking community decided to solve it themselves, and they found the perfect platform to help them do it. And that platform was Mozilla's Commen Voice. It's this brilliant open-source project designed for exactly this kind of situation. It basically gives everyday people, you and me, the tools to build these huge voice data sets for our own languages, just by contributing our own voices. And the whole process is just beautifully simple. First, volunteers go onto a website and just record themselves reading sentences. Super easy. Second, other people from the community listen back to those recordings to make sure they're accurate and match the text. And then third, all of that verified good-to-go data is bundled up and released publicly. Anyone, researchers, startups, you name it, can then use it to build new technology. So the community got to work. And what happened next was, well, nothing short of an explosion. The amount of data they managed to create and the incredible speed at which they did it, it's genuinely staggering. Okay, just look at this growth. In the middle of 2023, the entire dataset was just 1.5 hours of audio. A year and a half later, it had jumped to 115 hours. But then, by the end of 2025, it had absolutely skyrocketed to over 2,600 hours of speech. That's an expansion of more than 1,700 times in just 2.5 years. Just incredible. So by December 2025, here are the final numbers. Over 5,200 contributors recorded nearly 2.3 million individual audio clips. That adds up to over 2,600 total hours of Pashto speech. And out of all that, more than 783 hours have already been validated by the community. It's a truly monumental achievement. Okay, so now that we get the incredible scale of this thing, let's peel back the layers and take a look inside. Who are the people actually contributing their voices? Because, as we're about to see, the composition of the data is every bit as important as its size. And right away, a really clear pattern just jumps out at you. This dataset is overwhelmingly young. A whopping 60% of all the recorded clips came from speakers in their 20s. Add in another 20% from people in their 30s, and you've got speakers under 40 making up nearly 90% of the entire dataset. Meanwhile, older speakers are barely represented at all. But the gender breakdown is even more striking. I mean, this is wild. Among all the contributors who specified a gender, there's a massive imbalance. Over 60% of the clips are from female speakers, while only 0.2%, that's 0.2%, are from male speakers. The data is just incredibly skewed towards female voices, which, raises some really interesting questions about who is most active in these kinds of online community projects. So, what's the big deal? What does this imbalance actually mean in the real world? Well, while this is an amazing community achievement, this kind of demographic skew has very real consequences for any technology that gets built from it. It creates what you could call an unbalanced voice. I think this analogy puts it perfectly.
If you're training an AI model and you feed it almost exclusively one type of voice, it's going to become an expert at understanding that voice, but it's going to be terrible at understanding anyone who sounds different. The AI's entire world becomes very, very small.
So let's make that really concrete. A speech recognition model trained on this data, it's probably going to be fantastic at understanding young Pashto-speaking women, but it might fail spectacularly when an older man tries to use it. And that's not some hypothetical problem. It's a direct, predictable result of the data it was trained on. And the imbalance isn't just demographic, it's topical too. Over 97% of the sentences are from general, everyday domains. So specialized vocabulary from fields like healthcare, finance, or law, it's almost non-existent. And that makes it really, really hard to build specialized tools like a medical dictation app for a Pashto-speaking doctor.
Okay, so we have this incredible resource built from the ground up by a passionate community, but it's got some serious imbalances baked in. This brings us to the final and maybe most important question. What comes next? How does the community take this amazing success and build on it?
Well, there are a few pretty clear next steps. First, the community can make a targeted effort to recruit the demographics they're missing, specifically more male and older speakers. Second, they can work to diversify the topics by adding sentences from specialized areas. And finally, there's a huge backlog of over 1.5 million clips that are just waiting for validation. Focusing on that would dramatically increase the amount of high-quality, usable data. But you know, the responsibility doesn't stop with the community. It also falls on the researchers and developers who are actually going to use this data. They have an ethical responsibility to be aware of these biases and actively work to correct for them. For instance, they can use technical solutions like resampling, which basically means you digitally duplicate the clips from the underrepresented groups so the AI sees them more often, or data weighting, which tells the AI to pay more attention to the data from those groups. The goal here is to build models that are fair and that work for everyone, not just for the dominant group in the dataset.
Which leaves us with this final, critical thought. The story of the Pashto Common Voice dataset is a massive triumph of community spirit. It's proof that people can come together and start to close the digital divide. But it also shines a light on a much deeper challenge. See, it's not enough to just collect data. We have to collect the right data. Data that's a true, balanced reflection of all the people who speak a language. So the ultimate question this whole project forces us to ask is this: how do we build an AI that truly, genuinely hears everyone's voice equally?